Good afternoon. This is Rashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channel as I continue on my part series on the week that was college football's history in review, the 1955 college football season. This is a new season I'm going to be recapping and talking about. And during this series, so far I've done 1953, 1954, so now I'm into the 1955 season. So the 1955 college football season was the year of the recocked field goal, Holly's Folly, and Bears Aggie surprise. So with the arrival of limited substitution to college football in 1953, no less an expert than Notre Dame head coach Frank Leahy predicted that the outstanding run of Michigan State, which owned a 26-1 record from 1950 to 1952, would soon come to an end. So Leahy felt it simply was too difficult for the Spartans to prepare 60 or so players to play both offense and defense and still maintain the team's complex, various formation style of attack, known as the multiple offense. For one reason, Coach Biggie Munn's last Michigan State had the last laugh. It won 8 of 9 regular season games in 1953 and whipped UCLA in the Rose Bowl. But when the Spartans stumbled badly in 1954, many coaches knowingly nodded in agreement with Leahy's contention. The critical whispers about Coach Hugh Duffy Daugherty over a sour 3-6 first year at Michigan State in 1954 were exceeded only by the acclaim the witty, unassuming coach received for a 9-1 turnaround in 1954. Daugherty's peers in the American Football Conference Coaches Association chose him as Coach of the Year by the largest margin in the first 21 years of the award. The Spartans 5-1 in Big Ten play that included an early loss to Michigan needed help to earn a Rose Bowl date with UCLA. Ohio State was bowl ineligible, despite its eventual 6-0 Big Ten mark because of the league's ongoing edict preventing teams from going to Pasadena 2 years in a row. The Buckeyes, with Heisman Trophy winner Howard Cassidy, beat Michigan to capture the second straight Big Ten title. So Michigan's loss put it at 5-2 and punched the Pasadena ticket for conference runner-up Michigan State. A strange and hectic series of late fumbles and penalties in the Rose Bowl gave the Spartans a chance to break a 14-14 tie with 7 seconds to play. Dave Kaiser, a sophomore transfer from Notre Dame, lined up a 41-yard field goal. Kaiser was stunned to find the center snap arriving in the middle of a practice swing of his leg. Without stepping back or moving his plant foot, Kaiser recocked his right leg and made it good on a long, flat-footed boot for a rollicking win for the Spartans. Contributing to UCLA's Rose Bowl loss was an arcane rule that today's fans will find absurd. Michigan State earned field position for Kaiser's kick partly because prior to a Bruins punt in the dying seconds, they were pushed back to their own 5-yard line by coaching from the sidelines violation when an offensive assistant made a passing motion to tailback Ronnie Knox. Not only was that sin a rules infringement that no coach would have to endure today, but it was marched off as a full 15-yard foul from the 20-yard line. There were no half the distance to the goal penalties in 1955. Penalties that were sufficiently long to push a team into its own end zone were marked at the 1-yard line. All others were walked off in their entirety. Bucking the trend in an upset-rich 1955 season was Bud Wilkinson's Oklahoma Sooners, who won the national championship by crushing 10 regular season foes that sported a weak 37-51-2 record with 422 winning percentage combined record in the games they played other than against Oklahoma. Only Pittsburgh and Colorado showed winning ledgers among Oklahoma's opponents. The Sooners built an average winning margin of 31.1 points. Jimmy Harris, an underrated option quarterback and safety who was a great punt returner in his career, had a tremendous weapon in halfback Tommy McDonald, who averaged 6.8 yards per carry on 702 yards. But from Oklahoma's indispensable pass option play, McDonald completed a dazzling 17 of 24 for 265 yards. a spectacular 11.04 yards per attempt. Jerry Tubbs was a superb center linebacker, and Bo Ballinger an All-American guard. Maryland held AP's top ranking most of the year after it blanked top-ranked UCLA 7-0 in the September quagmire at College Park. 3 weak late-season wins demoted the undefeated Terrapins to third in the final poll before they lost to Oklahoma 26 in the Orange Bowl. Pittsburgh battled its customary monstrous schedule, but enjoyed a surprise season under new coach John Michael Lawson. John Michael Lawson. The Panthers lost 7-0 to Georgia Tech in the Sugar Bowl, built into a pregame tempest by Georgia Governor Marvin Griffin, who opposed Georgia Tech, facing a racially integrated team. Georgia Tech students were more interested in football than Old South politics, and Georgia Tech President Blake Van Leer solved the confrontation by firmly stating that the school intended to honor its contract with the Sugar Bowl. It was one more episode, albeit a relatively small one, that helps desegregate Southern schools during the next 10 to 15 years. Ironically, the Sugar Bowl's only touchdown was set up when defensive back Bobby Greer, Pitt's only all African American player, committed a debatable pass interference at his own goal line early in the game. Otherwise, Greer was the game's leading rusher in the defensive back. During spring practice at West Point, Coach Brad Blake made one of the most daring and debated personnel switches in football history. With the graduation of standout Pete Van, Blake was left without a single cadet back capable of playing quarterback. So Blake moved All-American end Don Hollander to the field general spot and stuck with the Green Hollander through some tough early losses that showed Hollander to be a highly inaccurate passer. Critics flourished as Army fans grumbled. West Pointers whispered behind Hollander's back, and newspaper columnists pointed at what they called Holly's folly. Vindication for both Blake and Hollander came when run-oriented Army upset Navy and its star quarterback George Welsh 14-6 at season's end. Soldier Hollander died a hero's death in combat in Vietnam in 1967. Welsh went on to become an assistant coach at Penn State and the winningest head coach at Navy and Virginia. The Southwest Conference reinforced its unpredictable reputation when preseason favorite Rice dropped to the bottom of the standings and anticipated tail-enders finish at the top of the league. So TCU, the thrilling halfback Jim Swink, Texas A&M, Bear Bryant's second Aggies team tied atop the Southwest Conference. Texas A&M beat the Horned Frogs 1916, but TCU went to the Cotton Bowl to play one of Coach Johnny Vaught's best Mississippi teams as the Aggies were on bowl probation. Ole Miss nipped TCU 14-13 as the Frogs played the whole way without quarterback Chuck Curtis, who was hurt on the opening kickoff. Texas A&M lost its opener to UCLA in Los Angeles as the Bruins unveiled the controversial Ronnie Knox, who pitched 3 touchdowns in a 21-0 win. Bryant's Aggies soon proved their capability by winning their next 5 games. Among Texas A&M's outstanding players was a trio that would take its place in both college and pro football history as players, coaches, and administrators. Halfback John David Crow, fullback Jack Pardee, and Gene Stallings. Vanderbilt, of all schools, became Gator Bowl champions by defeating SEC rival Auburn. It was the Commodores' first bowl game in 66 years of football, and it would be their last until 1974. Modern fans will have a difficult time believing that Vanderbilt had an outstanding 204, 80, and 17 record from 1900 to 1930. And it wasn't until the 1960s that the school became an annual doormat in the SEC. Vanderbilt's mainstays of 1955 get little mention, but Coach Art Grupe counted on big fullback Phil King, who would become a dependable runner for the New York Giants, versatile halfback Charlie Horton, a solid pair of ends in Tommy Harkins and Joe Stevenson's, an excellent middle of the line in guards Larry Hayes and Larry Frank, and center Jim Cunningham, a quarterback with good judgment but a weak passing mark, reliable Don Orr, surprise star of the Gator Bowl. Easily the worst walk-up ticket sales of all time in any sport occurred on a snowy day in Pullman, Washington in November. Only one person bought a ticket from Washington State, hosting San Jose State, and although a handful of students and season ticket holders fought their way into Martin, Stadium to see a 13-13 tie. Every football fan today should pay tribute to that one hardy soul who wandered out into the cold, apparently on the spur of the moment to take in college football. Now, the milestones that took place during the 1955 season was substitution rules were slightly adjusted to allow any player starting any quarter to be withdrawn and subsequently returned once in that quarter. Rules were enacted to prevent unsportsmanlike trickery. The hideout or sleeper play was eliminated by requiring all offensive players to be within 15 yards of the ball when play was signaled ready. The longest winning streaks entering the season, the 1955 college football season, was Oklahoma. They had a 19-game winning streak. Ohio State had a 10-game winning streak. UCLA had a 9-game winning streak. Coaching changes that took place during the 1955 season, you had Alabama J.B. Whitworth, Arizona State Dan Devine, Arkansas Jack Mitchell, Dartmouth Bob Blackman, Kansas State Bus Merdez, Louisiana State Paul Dietzel, Northwestern Lou Saban, Oklahoma A&M's Cliff Spiegel, Oregon State Tommy Prothero, Pittsburgh John Michael Lawson, Temple Josh Cody, Tennessee Bowden Wyatt. Preseason AP poll. The preseason number 1 team was UCLA. Number 2 was Oklahoma. Number 3 Michigan. Number 4 Ohio State. Number 5 Maryland. Number 6 Notre Dame. Number 7 Army. Number 8 Navy. Number 9 Miami. Number 10 Georgia Tech. Number 11 Rice. Number 12 Iowa. Southern California. Number 13 Wisconsin. Number 14 Mississippi. Number 15 Southern Methodist. Number 16 Auburn. Number 17 Duke. Number 18 number 19 West Virginia. And number 20 Purdue. Now, college football season in 1955 started on September the 16th, 1955, on a Friday, with number 1 UCLA beat Texas A&M 21-0. UCLA, the number 1 team in the country, led by Coach Red Sanders, brought controversial sophomore transfer Ronnie Knox, who threw for 83 yards on 6 of 8 passes, 3 touchdown passes, and 41 yards rushing on 6 carries off the bench, and his young single-wing tailback threw 3 touchdown passes to live up to braggadocio of Knox's infamously loud stepfather, Harvey Knox. Asked afterward if he ever doubted Knox's ability, Sanders simply said no. UCLA rushed for 211 yards and passed for 100 yards on 7-11 passing. Disappointed coach Bear Bryant said decisive loss was blessing because it toughened his young Aggies, who was held to 193 yards offense and few scoring chances. With score at 14-0 in the middle of third quarter, Knox lofted pass toward wingback Jim Decker, who battled ace Aggies halfback defensive back John David Crow. Lightning fast Decker beat Crow by eyelash for 23-yard touchdown reception and able to mount much of passing attack. Texas A&M faced tough going against run, as Bruins defense was sparked by Rami Loud, center linebacker Steve Palmer, and tackle Gil Marino. Next, Wake Forest shut out Virginia Tech 13-0 after undefeated in 1954 season. The favorite Virginia Tech was highly expectant of more to come in 1955. However, completely underrated Wake Forest gave Hokies a quick slap in the face. The Deacons marched 66 yards in 14 plays after opening kickoff to go ahead 7-0. King drive with his runs of 23 yards on 5 carries and 3 receptions on 19 yards. Receiving, Wake halfback kicker Billy Ray Barnes, 86 yards rushing and 15 carries and a touchdown, crashed over from 1 yard line, added extra point. In third quarter, Deacons and Ralph Brewster recovered fumble at Virginia Tech 32-yard line. Quarterback Nick Consoles, who was master offensive craftsman all day, wedged over for 1-yard touchdown. Gobbler's offense was completely throttled, gaining only 68 yards thanks to heavyweight tackling work of Wake Forest defensive tackle Bob Bartholomew. Swiss Virginia Tech halfback Dickie Beard was limited to 16 yards on 4 carries and coughed up fumble. Top 10 matchup started the season on a Saturday, September 17, 1955, when number 10 Georgia Tech played against number 9 Miami, and number 10 Georgia Tech beat number 9 Miami 14-6. Set for odd early play that went Yellow Jackets' way. At home TV audience of the first ever colored football telecast by NBC saw Miami outgame Engineers in first half, including surge to Georgia Tech 10-yard line. Oddity came when Georgia Tech fullback Ken Owen signaled fair catch on punt. It was tackled by overeager Miami guard Joe Kohut. As penalty flags flew, Tech's halfback Paul Rotenberry grabbed bounding ball and went 48 yards to touchdown through baffled Hurricanes. Yellow Jackets led 7-6 after Miami fullback Don Bossler powered 13 yards in the third quarter for the touchdown. Hurricanes halfback kicker Ed Oliver flew his extra point try wide. Score stood at 7-6 as Miami defense halted Georgia Tech at 3-yard line in fourth quarter. And Yellow Jackets center linebacker Jimmy Morris, 25-yard clinching interception touchdown return didn't come until game's last minute. Number 15, Mississippi beat Georgia 26-13 in Atlanta. Ole Miss quarterback Eagle Day, whose so-so training camp reportedly had cost him his starting job to John Blaylock, but put on a superb show. Day passed for 2 touchdowns in first half and ran 6 yards to touchdown in the fourth quarter and nightcap of Atlanta doubleheader. Additionally, Day's long punts pinned Georgia deep in its end. Bulldogs coming out of first quarter with 7-6 lead thanks to halfback Connie Meneseros 7-yard touchdown run and end kicker Ken Cooper's extra point. Bringing foot back into Ole Miss football was fullback kicker Paige Cawthorn, who boots 27 and 21-yard field goal in second quarter. No Rebels kicker had succeeded on even one field goal since 1932. Sophomore split back Jimmy Orr caught 46-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Dick Young in second quarter for Georgia, which trailed 19-13 at halftime. Florida beat Mississippi State 20-14. Set for Florida flurry late in second quarter when halfback Jim Roundtree sparked drive near the red zone. Underdog Mississippi State dictated first half after a short punt by Gators quarterback punter Dick Allen in first quarter. Maroons sub halfback Jim Tate zipped 12 yards and followed with 2-yard touchdown run to cap 44-yard trip. Mississippi State's next 2 threats were spoiled by roughing penalties, so it led 7-0 at halftime. Quarterback defensive back Bobby Lance made third quarter interception for Florida, and Gators halfback Jackie Simpson made lightning bolt dash through left guard for 46-yard touchdown that pulled them within 7-6. So on the fourth down at University of Florida 6-yard line, Tate tried option pass to left flat. Florida defensive back Simpson picked it off and raced 100 yards to score. Lance's 22-yard keeper touchdown run in fourth quarter iced it at 20-7. Louisiana State beat Kentucky 19-7. Coach Paul Dietzel's LSU debut took happy turn on opening drive when halfback turned quarterback Matt Barnes threw first of his 2 touchdown passes to halfback Vince Gonzalez. Tigers 6-0 lead held through halftime after Wildcats went ahead 7-6 in third quarter by scoring on quarterback Bob Hardy's 16-yard pass to ace end Howard Schnellenberger. LSU halfback Joe May responded with a 95-yard kickoff return for touchdown for winning points. Kentucky's 218 yards rushing gave it 290 yards to 176 yards offensive advantage. Next, Florida State shut out North Carolina State 7-0. Rainy afternoon wasn't conducive to offense and showed in final score. Florida State fullback Pat Verspril dashed 33 yards in second quarter, but quarterback Vic Princey suffered an interception. North Carolina State countered with trip to FSU 29-yard line, but Seminoles halfback defensive back Lee Corso inflicted his own interception. Wolfpack had excellent scoring opportunity in third quarter. They puzzled nose with single wing setup and marched to 10-yard line. FSU held on downs, but quickly turned over fumble at own 4-yard line. NC State was forced into missed field goal try after Seminoles' massive defensive end Tom Feaster threw little halfback George Wagon Wheels Marikov for 2-yard loss. FSU finally got game's only score in fourth quarter by a launching drive from own 14-yard line. Feimster caught 12-yard pass from quarterback Harry Swantick. Corso contributed 8 and 10-yard runs, and Feimster got open for 49-yard touchdown pass. Corso iced it with his second interception with 1:30 to play. Number 5 Maryland beat Missouri 13-12. Eventual Missouri 61-point loser to Maryland in 1954 pointed all off-season to his opener and happily matched Big Terrapin with 2 touchdown apiece, but over-anxious Tigers tackle kicker Charlie Murrah uh, kicked dribbler into Maryland line on third quarter conversion try. It was wide with fourth quarter attempt. At the Missouri game, 2 first downs. Maryland scored on its first possession. Terps traveled 63 yards on option runs to halfback in Ed Vereb's 14-yard touchdown burst. Fullback kicker Bob Lafferty followed the game's only successful extra point. Terps blocked punt in second quarter. Quarterback Frank Borellos pitched 22 yards to end Bill Walker for 13-0 lead that stayed intact as Maryland failed to cash the linebacker Bob Pellegrini's interception return to Tigers' 33-yard line. Missouri was a different team in second half as quarterback Jim Hunter sparked attack with 2 touchdown passes called out of Tigers' fair 7-23, 81 yards, 3 interceptions, air offering. In third quarter, fullback defensive back Jerry Cartwright stole pass by Maryland sub quarterback Lynn Beightall and dashed 28 yards to Terps' 25-yard line. Hunter ran 14 yards, then passed 7 yards touchdown to halfback Sonny Stringer. Missouri went 65 yards to Hunter's 14-yard touchdown pass to end Hal Burnine in fourth quarter. So, shutout was performed by Hawaii 6-0. Hawaii over Nebraska 6-0. So, avenging the 50-0 pacing Honolulu by Nebraska in late 1954. The Rainbow Warriors turned rare mainland's trip to stunning success in blazing hot Lincoln. Although Hawaii failed on its only first half threat to Nebraska's 17-yard line on end Dick Uoka's shoestring catch, it rushed for 246 yards with key runs of 40 and 30 yards coming from 160-pound halfback Skippy Dyer, traveling 72 yards after receiving second half kickoff. Frustrated Cornhuskers lost ball on downs at Hawaii 8-yard line. Warriors cashed game's only score with 5 minutes left to play. So Hawaii halfback Bill Taylor sped 37 yards to Nebraska's 7-yard line. Halfback Ed Kanawaki drove to within inches of Huskers' goal line, and fullback Hartwell Frieders powered over. Nebraska quarterback Don Irway tried desperate passes unto the end, but never mounted real threat. And finally, Wichita and Arizona State matchup resulted in a 2020 tie, as Dan Devine made his coaching debut at Arizona State and employed tricky Michigan State multiple offense that relied mostly on single wing power to dash 2 early touchdowns. By halfback Bobby Magato and Gene Mitchum. Before Wichita woke up to howls of disenchanted home fans, the weak Shockers quarterback Jack Conway's 35 and 22-yard passes were key elements in 13-13 tie midway in the third quarter, with Shockers up 20-13 in the fourth quarter as halfback Ray Vogue's touchdown run on reverse. Devils tackle John Jenkins stand out throughout, made fumble recoveries on Wichita's 42-yard line, which paved way for fullback Bob Seidler's tying 1-yard touchdown blast. Win hungry, Wichita chance lost as Conway nearly had 3 passes picked off. So last near interception came on unwise. Failed fourth down from on 21-yard line. But with 30 seconds left, Wichita center linebacker Jack O'Toole made saving interception of ASU pass. Now the AP poll looks like this as of September 19th, 1955 at that time. UCLA was number 1. Number 2 was Georgia Tech. Number 3, Oklahoma. Michigan, number 4. Maryland, number 5. Number 6, Ohio State. Number 7, Pittsburgh. And number 8, Mississippi. Now, the 2 teams that tied for the 9th spot was Navy and Southern California. And Notre Dame was number 11. Texas Tech was number 12. Rice, number 13. Army, number 14. Miami, number 15. Louisiana State, number 16. And number 17, Arkansas. Number 18, Baylor. And another tie for the 19th spot. There's another tie in the poll, along with Navy being tied with Southern California, the 9th spot. Purdue and Florida was tied for the 19th spot. So that concludes week 1, the week that was of September the 17th. Now the season started on September 16th on a Friday when UCLA played Texas A&M. But it was week 1 of the 1955 college football season. Hope you enjoyed everything that I talked about. Please subscribe to the channel, like, and comment. This is Rashad Mitchell. I'll do a video tomorrow regarding this part series. The week that was college football's history in review. The 1955 college football season. Until then, talk to you tomorrow.